Hello everyone, welcome to day 31st of July Lead Code Challenge, and today is the last day of the challenge. Heartiest congratulations that will be completing the third month in a row with no fail. And let's walk through today's question. Today's question is tapping rain water. It's a very famous interview problem where you are given various buildings and rain is falling from the top. You need to tell what amount of water will be trapped between those buildings. The height of each bar or building is say 1, and this is the example that is given to us, and whatever you are seeing in blue color will be trapped. So the width of this area is 1, the area of this block is 1, the area of this block is 1 2 3 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, and for this particular blue block it's 1 again. So in totality, the total area that gets trapped by water becomes 6, and we need to return this value. Tapping rainwater, lead code 42. We'll be solving this question by two approaches. The generic approach that comes to everybody's mind. If you go and check online, then everyone is explaining the same approach. However, I'll tell you another approach using stacks that we have also used in solving largest area of histogram problem in December Lead Code Challenge. So look at both the approaches and then try to build your own concepts. Starting with the first approach. Let's take the same example that was specified in the question. We have various heights of the bars that is given to us. The width of each bar that is given is 1, and the height is as follows: 0 1 0 2 1 0 1 3 2 1 2 1, and we need to tell how much water will be trapped in each between these buildings or bars. So what comes obvious to everybody's mind that when water will be trapped, when there is a particular building or bar, something like this, and you have two different bars on its right and left that are of higher height. So let's hypothetically assume that we have a bar as this, and the height of this bar is 3, the height of this bar is 1, and on its left there is another bar that is of height 5. So how much water will be trapped at this particular bar? By virtue of this particular bar, it would be equal to the minimum of its adjoining greater bars, the height of the greater bars. The minimum of these two is 3 minus the height of this particular bar, 1, into the width of this bar. What is the width of this bar? The width of this bar is 1. So how much water will be trapped between these three buildings? So that value would be equal to 2 units of area, which makes absolute sense because we have a bar of height 3 on its right, a bar of height 5 on its left. The height of the current building is 1 unit. So what is a takeaway from this small example? If we know with respect to current bar that is of 1 unit, what is its leftmost higher bar, what is its rightmost higher bar, we can calculate the area using the formula. Minimum of the height of left comma right minus the height of the current building. This gives us the area that will be trapped at the ith index, this one. So minimum of left comma right minus the height of the current bar minus h. Just remember this formula, and we'll be using the same formula for the computation. Now let's talk about how can we find out the height of the next highest bar on its left and right. If we have that information, we'll use this formula to compute the answer. So I have taken the same example that I previously stated, and let's try to find out the height of the next higher bar in its leftmost direction first. So these are the values that were there in the example: 0 1 0 2 1 0 1 3 2 1 2 1. And let's start the iteration. The value is 0 here, So this is the first index, so you fill in 0. Next comes 1, so you fill in 1. 1 is higher than the previous value, so 1 gets filled in. Next we have 0, so 1 gets filled in because 1 is greater, the previously computed value is greater than the current value. Next we have 2, 2 gets filled in. Next we have 1. Again, out of 2 and 1, 2 is greater, so 2 gets filled in. Out of 0 and 2, 2 is greater, 2 gets filled in. 0 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 gets filled in. 2 and 3, 3 gets filled in. 3 and 2, 3 gets filled in. 3 and 1, 3 gets filled in. 3 and 2, 3 gets filled in. 3 and 1, 3 gets filled in. I hope you understood the logic of finding out the next higher bar on its left, and we are able to achieve that in time complexity of order of n, and we have also using an extra space of same size as order of n. Let's try to find out the next higher bar with respect to the current bar on its right. So we'll go in the reverse direction, we'll flow from right to left, and the first element here is 1, so 1 gets dumped here. Next we have 2, 2 is higher than 1, 2 gets filled in. 2 is higher than 1, this one, 2 gets filled in. 2 is equal to 2, 2 gets filled in. 2 is lower than 3, 3 gets filled in. 3 is greater than 1, 3 gets filled in. 3 is greater than 0, 3 gets filled in. 3 is greater than 1, 3 gets filled in. 3 is greater than 2, 3 gets filled in. 3 is greater than 0, 3 gets filled in. 3 is greater than 1, 3 gets filled in. 3 is greater than 0, 3 gets filled in. Now using this information, let's compute our answer using the formula that we discussed in the previous slide. Minimum of left comma right minus height for each index. So what is the minimum of left comma right? Minimum of left comma right is 0, so we won't do anything, we'll move ahead. And let's check here, what is minimum of 1 comma 3? Minimum of 1 comma 3 is 1, minus the current value at that index is 1, so again no water will be trapped here, it is 0, which is in absolute sync with the graph. So no water gets trapped here, no water gets trapped here. Let's look at the next iteration. We have 3 and 1. What is the minimum value out of these two? Minimum is 1. What is the value held at this particular node? Index is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. So the answer becomes, the total sum becomes 1, which makes absolute sense because 1 unit of water gets stored here. Let me just highlight it, this area. And how have we computed this area? We have found out that on its left we have a building of 1 unit, on its right we have a building of 3 units. How much water will be trapped? 1 unit. Let's continue the process. Next we have 3 and 2, which is the minimum value out of these two. The minimum value is 2 minus the current value 0. The total sum becomes 0, so we will not add anything, which makes absolute sense because no water will be trapped over here. Let's continue the process. We have 2 and 3. We have 2 and 3, and the minimum value out of these two is 2. 2 minus the current height of the bar, which is 1. The answer becomes 1. So 1 gets added to the total sum. The answer total area becomes 2. And it also makes absolute sense because on its left we have a height of 2. With respect to this current bar, we have a height of 2. On its right we have a bar of 3 units, which is the next higher bar. So we have calculated this particular area, if you carefully observe, as 1 unit. Let's continue the process. Next we have 2 and 3. Minimum value out of these two is 2. 2 minus 0 is 2. 2 gets added to the answer. The answer becomes 4. Let's again continue the process. Then at the next index we have 2 and 3 as its leftmost boundary and rightmost boundary. What is the minimum out of these two? The minimum is 2. We'll subtract it with the height of the current index. At the current index, 2 minus 1 is 1. So 1 gets added to the answer. The total area becomes 5. Let's continue the process. We have 3 comma 3. The minimum value out of these two is 3. The current height is 3. No addition in the answer will happen because 3 minus 3 is 0. Let's continue the process. Out of 3 comma 2, what is the minimum value? 2. What is the current height of the bar? 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. No addition in the answer. Let's continue the process. 3 comma 2, what is the minimum value? Minimum value is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 gets added to the answer. The total sum becomes 6. Let's move ahead. We have 3 and 2. What is the minimum out of these two? 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. No addition. What is the minimum value out of these two? 3 comma 1. 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. And no addition will happen for the last case as well. What is the total area that you have computed? The total area is 6. And let's complete the diagram as well. We were at this particular index. The leftmost boundary for this index would be 2, and for the rightmost boundary for this particular index would be 3. So please go and check it from the data that we have computed. So this area is 2 units. We added 2 units. Let's continue the process. For this particular boundary, the rightmost boundary was 3, the leftmost boundary was 2. 3 minus 2, the minimum of these two was 2, minus the current height is 1, so the area becomes 1. So this was 1, this is of 1 unit, and this was of 2 unit, this was of 1 unit, this was of 1 unit, and I am not writing everything, I am just writing the ones that actually contribute to the area. The leftmost boundary for this particular index is 3, this one. The rightmost boundary is 2. The minimum of these two is 2, and the height of the current bar is 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. The area is 1. And when we have added these areas, 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1, the total comes out to be 6, which is as expected. So this was the this was the approach where time complexity is of order of n. The space complexity is again order of n. Can we improvise it? The answer is yes. Let's move on to a stack based approach, which we have used in the past as well for solving largest area of histogram problem. I have already created a video of it. Just use this as an opportunity to revise that concept. That's a very famous interview problem and often asked in interviews. Both of them are highly and frequently favorites of interviewer. So let's try and understand that approach. We'll be using a stack based approach, and I have taken a slightly different example to what was specified in the question so that you get a better understanding of the concept. The height is 5, the next one is 4, the next one is 3, next we have 2, and the last one is 7. And the indexes are as shown: 1, 0, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Let's start the iteration. We'll be using a stack of integer, st of type generic type integer, and we'll be storing the indexes here. So let's continue the process. Let's see what is our first element, and the first element is 5 at 0th index. The stack is empty, so we'll push this element onto the stack. So the index gets pushed onto the stack, and we have 0, and the value at it is 5. I'm showing this in the brackets. Let's move ahead. Next we have is 1, and the height at 1 index is 4. 4 is lower than the peakmost height at the of the stack. So the peakmost height of the stack is 5. What you're gonna do, since it's a lower value, we'll push this value onto the stack. So 4 gets added onto the stack at index 1. So the value is highlighted in bracket, the index as it is. Let's continue the process. Next we have index as 2, the height is 3. 3 is again lower than the topmost element of stack, which is 4. So it gets added onto it. We have 3 here, add index 2. Let's continue the process. Next we have the element at the third index as 2. 2 is again lower than the topmost element of the stack. which is 3. So this gets added onto it. At index 3 we have the height as 2. The next element is at 4th index and the value is 7. This value is greater than the topmost element of the stack, which is 2. The height is 2 and it is at index 3. So what you're gonna do, you need to calculate the water trapped by virtue of this particular index. So you'll pull out the topmost element from the stack. The topmost element gets pulled out and we have that as 2 at the 3rd index. So at 3rd index we have a value 2. And now what you will check its leftmost boundary, the leftmost higher element. The leftmost higher element will be given by the peakmost element of the stack. What is that value? 3. The leftmost boundary is 3 and the rightmost boundary we already know is 7. So you can calculate the area that is bounded by this particular bar, provided you know its leftmost boundary and rightmost boundary. That would be nothing but the minimum of 3, 7, which is 3, minus the height at this particular element. The height is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1, and we will multiply it by the width. So width will be given by the index of 7. The index of 7 is 4 minus the index of the leftmost boundary, which is 2. 4 minus 2 is 2 minus 1. So 4 minus 2 minus 1 is 1. So this gives us the water trapped by this particular bar, which is 1 units. So let's create a global variable and let's add 1 to it. Let's continue the process. Now we have added the area bounded by this particular bar. Let's continue the process. We have the rightmost boundary as 7 and the topmost element of the stack now is 2 index value 3. So you'll delete this element. This element is gone and the height of this current bar is 3 units. What is its leftmost boundary? The leftmost boundary will be given by the peakmost element of the stack. The peakmost element of the stack is 4 at 1 index. So we have the boundary as 4, the leftmost boundary as 4, the rightmost boundary as 7. And what would be the area trapped by this particular bar, by virtue of this particular bar? It would be equal to this area that I'm just highlighting. So 7 minus 4, a minimum of 7 and 4 is 4. 4 minus 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 into the width that is being trapped between these two ends. It is 4 minus 1 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So 1 into the width which you have calculated is 2 and it becomes 2. 1 into 2 is 2 and 2 gets added to the answer. We have the updated total water trapped as 3. And how have we calculated the width? Let me just reiterate. We had 7 at 4 index, we had 4 at 1 index. So 4 minus 1 minus 1. We need to subtract 1 extra than the difference between these indexes. Now let's again continue the process. This element is gone and the next element that we have is 5 at the 0th index. So how much water will be trapped by it? The leftmost boundary is 5, the rightmost boundary is 7. The minimum of these two is 5. So 5 minus the height of the current element. The height of the current element is 4, which is the height comes out to be equal to 1, and we need to calculate the width of the water trapped by virtue of these two buildings, 5 and 7. So how much water will be trapped by virtue of these two buildings? It would be equal to 7 is occurring at index 4 5 is occurring at index 0. So 4 minus 0 minus 1, 3. So 1 into 3 becomes 3 units, and that becomes our answer, and 3 gets added to the answer. The total water trapped becomes 6 units. I hope you understood this algorithm. We are basically trying to compute the water that will be trapped between every two higher buildings, the leftmost boundary and the rightmost boundary. And this is what we exactly did in the area of histogram problem. Now let's move on to the coding part, where we'll code it up. So moving on to the coding section. Let's try and solve it by the first approach, which is easier to code, easier to understand. I have taken a variable n that calculates the height of the input array, and if that height is less than equal to 0, we'll return 0. And I have taken another array left that will help us identify the leftmost boundary where water will be trapped, and I have taken a variable max which is equal to the height of 0th index. As I start the iteration, and with every iteration I compute the maximum element that I have visited so far, and I assign it to my leftmost index at the ith place. Similar kind of thing I'll do for the rightmost index as well. I have defined a rightmost array of size n, and height of n minus 1 index is initialized to the max value, since we are moving in the reverse direction from right to left. I start the iteration from I equals to n minus 1, goes up till I equals to 0, and with each iteration I decrement the value of I. I calculate the maximum value in the starting from the right to left direction, and I assign it to the rightmost index at the ith place. I have taken another variable total water, and I start the iteration. I calculate the minimum out of the left and the rightmost boundary and subtract the height from it, add it to my total water that will be trapped variable that I have created. In the end, I simply return this variable. The time complexity of this approach is order of n. The space complexity is again order of n. Let's try this up. Accepted. Let's now talk about the other approach that we discussed using the stack. Again, I have checked if height of length of height is less than equal to 1, I return 0. Otherwise, I go and create a new stack of type integer. I have taken a water variable that stores the total water that will be trapped, and iterated I for iterating over the input array. Till the time I is less than equal to the height, I check if my stack is empty or the topmost element of the stack is greater than equal to the current element. If the topmost element is greater than the current element, I push that element on the onto the stack and increment the value of I. Otherwise, I pull out the topmost element from the stack, and if my stack is not empty, I calculate its rightmost boundary, its leftmost boundary. So what would be its rightmost boundary? The rightmost boundary will be height of I. The leftmost boundary would be equal to height of the topmost element of the stack, and we calculate the minimum of these two so that we get the smaller one out. Then we calculate the area, which is nothing but minimum height minus the height at the current index, which is acting as the point at which we are calculating the area, into I minus peak of stack minus 1. So this is the rightmost index, this is the leftmost index, stack of peak, and minus 1 because we have to reduce it by 1 so that we get the trapped area in between. And in the end, we simply return the water variable. Let's again try this up. Accepted. The time complexity of this approach is order of n. The space complexity is again order of n because we are using stacks. I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you liked it, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for viewing it. Have a great day ahead, and great news guys, we are done with the July LeetCode challenge.